Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hello, hello, hello. Evening, bienvenue, willkommen, bonjour, ciao, hola, etc. Ad infinitum. And we have Denis, Bigfoot Fish Tanks, saying hello, Sherry, and gorgeous Brian. Hello, how are you, my friend? Welcome aboard. Good to have you both here. At least I'm not talking to myself for once. Happens quite a lot, but you know, comes with the territory of being a YouTuber. Yeah, it's what we do. We talk to ourselves while waving cameras about. Hello, Mandy, my dear. Mwah. Hey, it's this my thing. Mr. John Jensen's or Jensen's even world. Good evening, sir. As I otherwise know, Mufti. And Jimmy P. Good evening, sir. How are you? Hope all is well with you. Hope your last stream went well with Brennan and giveaways and all sorts. Very exciting. One of these days I might do a giveaway. Probably wouldn't be worth much, but you know, something might pop into my head that I don't want. You never know. Perhaps Hyger might actually get around to sending me something. They seem to have sent everyone else something. Sorry, joke. Oh dear, Brian put it back out again. Still having trouble walking and standing up straight. I'm not going to make any jokes about staying bent over. Because, yeah, you know exactly where my mind went with that one, Brian. Ritash, Ricky, welcome aboard. So it's all right, Ricky. I did figure out that your other channel was you. And Scott with Alien World Hairsoft. Good evening, and also Alien World Aquatics. And Jamie, greetings. Hope all of you are wonderful, well, dandy, and have had fantastic weeks. I have, for the most part. I am two slight downsides, but most of it was quite a good week. So should we start waffling on about what Sharpe's been up to this week? Well, Monday, I've got all my water changes done. Yeah, all of them. This is a lot of water changes for one day, for a lazy fat man like me anyway. And then was it Tuesday or was it Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday, I went for a wander, probably Tuesday, to a local village, Besthorpe, which is like a 3-mile round trip, and went and filmed at their church. Pardon me. A little bit history stuff, no paranormally stuff. And Thursday, I went for a wander down by the water meadows and filmed a little paranormally video down there. Again, a 3-mile walk-ish. That one might have been a bit longer, judging by how much my feet hurt afterwards. I don't need any more plecos, Dennis. I'm back up to 1,000 again. Okay, Mandy. I take it you didn't watch my short then this week. Hello, Steph, and Mike sends his love. Oh, Mike loves me. Oh. I'm feeling the love. Thank you very much, Steph. And Brennan's here as well. Misfit. So we filmed another 2 videos. So I now have a backlog of 11 videos ready to go, believe it or not. And then what else? Oh yeah, looking up as the neighbours were away this week, so I've been looking after all their floofy kitties, which is always fun because we've got Sparky, Ginge, Blackie, Pumpkin, and Fat Cat. So 5 kitties to feed and look after. Just being nice. You can be an ass all you like, Manda Panda. Most people just say, would you bloody stop singing full stop? Not, could you just sing a different tune? Because that one's really annoying to anyone who's had children in the last 20 years. So on Friday we filmed a video on the Happy Caras, as a viewer asked me to. So there we go. That's hence today's title, Now Taking Requests. If there's something you'd like me to make a video about, within reason, obviously, can you make a video on how you do this with a marine tank? Is probably not going to get a video done, or it might just be me going, yeah, this is what I'd do. Elizabeth's here as well. Hello, Elizabeth, or Lilybet, as I prefer as an abbreviation for Elizabeth. Also, coincidentally, our Queen's nickname, whose Platinum Jubilee it was this week. She's had the same job for 70 years, believe it or not. Yep. And Adele's here as well. Hello, my dear. With collaboration of Curiosities 2.0, or COC, as it gets abbreviated to, or COC 2 now. Is that a DP? I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so that's that. Look after fishies, film videos. Quiet day yesterday, and a quiet day with Mary today. We didn't go out on any adventures or anything really. Actually had a nap. Yeah, exactly. 7-layer platinum celebration cake. Yeah, I could have eaten the whole thing. Mikey, how you doing? Thank you for the love. So we do have a couple of minor downers. The first one, which no one will be surprised about. The last of the Chop Rate Glow Like Danios is no longer. It was euthanized when I spotted it was very badly pine coned, missing most of its fins and just in a very poor state. Just old age with that one. Then the sadder news is that little Boise, a little male Limia Perugiae that I got, he is no more, unfortunately. But he is no more because Mr. Cribby was doing chasey, and little Boise managed to jump out of a gap in the back of the lid. And I found him like a couple of days later, dried out on the floor behind the tank. But the reason Mr. Cribby, I call them cribs, they're not technically cribs. They're a Pelvicochromis, but they're a different flavour. Was because we have baby criblets. We have baby cribs. Yeah, so they're now 2 weeks old. But first week, obviously, egg, wriggler, blah, blah, blah. So back into this week, last couple of 3 days, 4 days, they've been out and about, scooting about and zooming around feeding. Looks to be about 40 of them. But so weird little Boise, unfortunately, very sad he's gone, but he did manage to knock both the females up twice. So we've currently got around about 30 baby limia, with both of the females pregnant again. So yes, and then what do we do for videos this week? Oh, Monday was Monday the summer tub video? Yeah, I think Monday I put it was the tubbing with the bucket out the back door video with the shrimp, which now has shrimp in it. And then Fridays, well, Wednesdays was the silly little short. And then Friday was the exterior of All Saints Church at Santon, which nobody seems to have watched right to the end of, because there's an Easter egg right at the end of that, which will guarantee some people will laugh, others will call me gross. Anyone who's here will probably laugh. If you're not seeing it, just watch the last few seconds. Yeah. More proof that Sharpe doesn't do editing. Because anyone more professional would have edited that out. Yeah, exactly, Adele. He did his job. I mean, it's a shame because he was a lovely little fishy. He was happy and friendly and liked to get his gonopodium wet, as it were. And very pretty. He was a very handsome little fishy. But unfortunately, he did manage to jump out like the gaping gaps that are in the back of a Lovefish panorama tank. And I think I'm going to have to get some gaffer tape and literally just tape over the holes. So there are gaps enough in the back of one of those lids, but when someone's butchered it to get a canister filter to work with it as well, it's sizable gappage. I'm surprised neither of the female limias have made it out of there, to be honest. And Keith Caged Aquatics. Good evening. It's a good one. Yeah, I've had a good week overall. At least I've not had any scary bills come through the door this week. And I got a very nice little thank you card for looking after the kitties and some money as well, which is always a bonus. That pretty much covers my week. Now it's the way that the lids on them work, and it's a bit strange. So yeah, I'm just gonna get some black duct tape and stick over the gaps. Rego came through the letterbox and got some headaches since. Yeah, yes. At least when it's a letter, you can sit yourself down and prepare. Right, this is going to be a bill. This is going to be. When you just on your phone and an email comes through, and you go, an email from, oh my god, and it's your electric bill. Yeah, that's a bit of a shock. Good job I wasn't far from the toilet. Oh, Danny boy, the Scottish Tennessee Fish Mafia branch. Haddle doodle Dan. Hope you get your car sorted and the evil personage gets caught. Try and get tax back so pay all the bills for the car, battery, service, registration, license. Ouch. Yeah. Mary's had her car serviced and Had to have new front brakes on it, pads and discs, but they were the original ones, so yeah, it's to be expected. It's one of these things that wears out just because of how they work. They work by wearing. Um, yes, and if you can hear water trickling, don't worry. It's not something leaking. It's not something bad going on. All it is I forgot to do second water changes on the bottom pleco tank, so the filters are a bit clogged up and the sponges have all pushed out the top virtually, and the water's coming over the top of the filter rather than out where it should do. That's all that is. Yeah, that's like my phone. I'm not worried about because I'm business for that. So yeah, so it was a full service, Dennis. So a full service in the UK means suspension, springs, dampers, anti-roll bars, oil, coolant, aircon, brakes, tyres, wheels, bearings, all the various ball joints and suspension, get a good wobble to check nothing's loose. It gets a quick test drive just to check that everything is working as should. Yeah. And then after that, you go for the MOT, which means you're allowed to drive that car on the road for the next year. Because without that MOT, you don't drive that car on the road. Well, you can, but your insurance will be void. So you'll get done for driving a non-tested car. You'll get done for driving without insurance. Whatever it was that caused you to get pulled over in the first place. Yeah, so basically you're going to lose your license. Howdy, Stillwater. Roadworthy certificate required. Exactly. Yeah. Because I do watch some American mechanic-y stuff, and the state of some of the things that come into that garage. And then they'll say, no, that costs too much. And then they're allowed to drive it away again. No, it's a safety thing. Simple as. It's. I wouldn't want to get in a car that hadn't passed basic yearly safety checks. It's just the way it is. So what season are we in? Technically we're in summer, although it's been a bit meh this week. But it's British summer after all. Any new fish planned? Yeah, fish I want, yes. Can I afford them? No. Yeah, funds are getting a bit tight here. If you see Monday's video, you'll see my summer tub, which is just outside the back door, which is a Neo Caradina shrimp tub. And it's been nearly 2 weeks, and the shrimp are still alive in there. You look at any shrimp keeper's channel, and yeah, the shrimp should all be dead, but they're doing very well. They seem to like cold green water full of muck and mire. Pretty much pay a bloke to give you a dodgy. Yeah, there's those here as well. It's a case of knowing the person. Good evening, Lady Diane. Always late or sleeping in on Sundays. Well, that's what Sundays are for. If you're not going to go, if you're not churching it or got anywhere to go, why bother getting up? You got a funny car truck type with zip ties and yeah. I think I've seen a couple of those. Yeah, sort of bit like Ave, and I do watch Ave, so all good. About it 100. It's been getting down to low 40s at night here this last week or two, so it's been quite nice actually. Definitely shorts and t-shirt weather. Um, but yeah, so the shrimp are fine outside in it. The only issue I have with that tub at the moment is that the sponge filter keeps deciding to unstick itself from the side of the tub, so might just take the sponge filter out, throw it away, well, throw it back in the pot with the rest of the old filters, and stick an air stone in there instead. It'll do the same thing. Um, it's a shrimp tub that's full of plants. The water's green. We're not worried about nitrite, ammonia, nitrates. It's all getting eaten up. It's not like the plants in there are slow growing. It's hornwort and elodea. So, yeah, I reckon by the end of summer, it's just going to basically be a tub of hornwort and elodea with an air stone in it. And that's pretty much it. Oh, pardon me. You can see, yeah, it's been, I think, a couple of days this week. You might have struggled up to 20, but not glue a rock to the bottom of the sponge. There is that one, Dan. I did think about that one, but might just, yeah, either glue or tie. Yeah, if it keeps peeing me, if I just stick an air stone on the end and throw that in. And the only reason that's in there is just to try and keep a bit of water movement going, so we don't end up with completely stagnant water in there. Um, bit of movement should reduce the amount of mosquito larvae that are in there. And the two mollies that went into the pond seem to have disappeared. Fishing sinkers work too, don't they? Yes. I'm just trying to think what I've got. And whether I've got anything I'd actually consider to be fish or shrimp safe. And I think most of them have got brass fittings, which is copper. So, we'll have a think. I'll say it's not there to. It's not there to filter. It's just there to. I wanted water movement, so it's like air is the easiest way to do it, especially as it's outside. I don't want power leads in and out the back door. An airline isn't a problem because you keep the air pump indoors and just run the silicon airline out the back door, and you can still shut the door. I don't want to go doing that with the mains cable. I accidentally cut the cable with the door, not realising, and go to unlock the door the next day and electrocute myself again. But yeah, it's one of those things. You got air, you may as well stick a sponge filter on the end of it. You get the same amount of air bubbles coming out, and you get filtration as well. So yeah, but as it is just cherry shrimp, we're not overly worried about that. Yeah, I've electrocuted myself more times than I'd like to remember. You know, you've done it quite a few times when it gets to the point where you just put your fingers on the wire and go, yeah, that one's live. When you're used to it to the point where you'll change light switches without actually cutting the power to the mains. Yeah. Very dangerous, and do not attempt this at home. All right? Don't. Just don't. Because I am a professional. We're just going to change the angle slightly. Because I am a professional and a qualified electrician. All joking aside, actually I am. You know, it's yeah, don't do it. If you're the kind of person who puts a 9-volt battery on your tongue and goes, ah, yeah, you really don't want. Maybe American lady size voltage might be okay, but you don't want man strength UK style voltage going through you. Let's put it that way. Sharpie the Sparky. Yeah. Interesting stories from when I was doing that. The time I was working in a blast freezer on a duck farm, wearing basically what I'm wearing now, shorts and t-shirt. It was midsummer, so yeah, it wasn't a problem. I was replacing a light fitting, and the blast freezer was off, and not all the staff had been told, "Don't turn the blast freezer back on." You know, there were signs and stuff up saying, "Do not turn on." Um, yeah, and I was in there, and all of a sudden the temperature dropped from about 20 degrees to minus 30, and I was up an aluminium ladder. Sorry, aluminum, from my American friends. Um, yeah, I was on an aluminium ladder in shorts and t-shirt, changing a light fitting, and someone turned the blast freezer back on. Suffice to say, even though I was only 17 at the time, when I came out of that freezer, having finished changing the light socket, yeah, mounting thingy on the wall, some people got sworn at very loudly. Some actual, proper middle-aged adults who were getting sworn at and bawled out by a 17-year-old Sharpie for being absolute a-holes. Now, what other ones come to mind? Obviously, quickly, our pig farm. Changing a fan controller in the pig farm. Simple job to do. Take the cover off, pull the board out, unscrew everything, screw the new board in, stick it all back in, job done. Well, I'm stood there in this puddle. It's an active farm. You get puddles everywhere. And remember, I have no sense of smell. So I'm stood in this puddle, got my wellies on, because you put your wellies on when you go to work on a farm. Sort of rubber gum boots. And quite happily changing away, and I hear the sound of running water behind me. Oh, pay no attention. Drop my screwdriver, pick it up. Using 2 screwdrivers, a big one for the big screws and a little one for the cable screws, the kind of thing. And as you do when you're lazy, you don't put it back in your pouch or in your belt or in your pocket or anything. You say, all right, I need to use the other one. So, problem was, I dropped that screwdriver into the puddle and picked it back up and started using it. And then I heard the water flowing again. I thought, what is that sound of water flowing? I was stood in the puddle of pig pee. I was literally up to my ankles in the puddle of pig urine and got it in my mouth. That was not a good day. Enjoy your dinner, Dan. Yeah, I started young. 17, 18, there I am getting electrocuted and getting covered in pig pee and dead mice and the little old ladies whose vacuum cleaners stopped working, they couldn't understand why. And then, so you take it and you go, okay, we'll have a look at it. We'll see if we can repair it for you. You take it in, you take it out of the back to the workshop, start pulling it apart, realize it's absolutely clogged solid with dog hair all the way through. It's just one giant mat of muck fluff. And you just pulling it out, you start pulling bits out of your fingers and you can't reach anymore, so you're using the pliers, and then you end up with a long bit of wire that's bent into a hook, pulling it out. And about half hour later, you finally clear it all out, put it all back together, job done. They come back to collect it and they go, oh, what was the problem? Go, yeah, it was full of bloody dog hair or cat hair or... Oh, I don't know how that happened. It's like, have you got a dog? Yes. Yeah, that's how it happened. And it wasn't a new Hoover, it was one that they'd had for years, kind of thing. Yeah. I knew they'd had it a long time because the colour of the dog hair changed as you went down the pipe. Howdy, chalupa, and no tomatoes, as should be. Damn things. The only good thing a tomato is for? Tomato has two uses: ketchup and allowing to rot and throw up politicians. They're the only two legitimate uses for tomatoes. And yes, I know your name is Travis, but I like saying chalupa. Not quite as much as I enjoy saying buttresses, but buttress is just a good word. Yeah, it is. Whether it be a flying buttress, a diamond buttress, a floating buttress. Can you tell I've been going into a lot of the history of churches? Pizza and salsa, tomatoes. Yeah, exactly. He's got the balty, naughty word for a female sex worker. Yeah, that's what it gets called around here. I think I had one on my old profile. What did I get this? I unlocked HMS Conqueror this week. Matt's here, Liquid Zoo, OnlyFins. Was it just Conqueror or did I get something else? No, it's just Conqueror. Uh, very close to unlocking the second Minotaur, though. And I started on the Desmond, sorry, Des Moines, or the Des Moines. I doubt there's anyone in here English and old enough to remember the Channel 4 comedy Desmond's set in a black barbershop. Probably highly racist. But yeah, it was very funny. It was a Jamaican barber shop in London. Was the entire premise for the thing. Why am I trying to relight a cigarette that's already lit? Lurking and driving. Well, do more driving than lurking, Matt. We don't want to find you wrapped around a lamppost somewhere. Oh, pardon me. There's a Sasquatch around here somewhere. Oh, oh dear. Nom, 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 nom. Oh yes, where were we? These morons. And yes, that is a very, very bad Jamaican accent. What else were we going to talk about? Anything. Take the fun out of it. Well, I don't mind being responsible for stuff I actually did, but see now, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, Mandy? It's a sign of age. You must be getting there, young and as you are. But yeah, so at least because I have these on my face pretty much from the moment I open my eyes in the morning to the moment I close them at night. About the only time they come off is nap times and bath. Other than that, first thing I do when I get up is put the bins on. Last thing I do before I go to bed, lights off and everything, is take the bins off. 43. Exactly, you're a young'un. The people, it's the people who don't need their glasses all the time. They either have like reading glasses or they have two different pairs, and they'll do that one, stick one up on their head, and they're hunting around. Has anyone seen my glasses? Yeah, they're on your head, dumbass. Although I knew somebody used to do that with cigarettes as well. He'd go out and he wouldn't. So he'd just stick it behind his ear. He was constantly looking for his cigarettes. He was like, where'd it go? I know I had one. Oh, I'll roll another one. And somehow he always managed to stick it behind the other ear. So like, it'd be about an hour later. He's like, I bloody know I rolled two cigarettes. And I know I didn't smoke them both. Where the hell? They're behind your ears. Yeah, I just never wear my glasses. You can get away with it, I suppose, when you're younger, but when you get a bit older, or when your eyesight's as bad as mine is, I mean, if I do that, yeah, there's a blur that I think that I know is me, but yeah, the chat is just, yeah, not a chance. I can't even recognize avatars at this range. I'd have to get so close to read it that you'd just be staring at my forehead for 2 hours. Easily distracted, got the attention span of a gnat. I've got a good attention span, and I don't tend to get distracted too much, but I'm just old and have done a lot of things in my life you shouldn't do. So, which is why the old noggin don't work as well as it used to. You can get surgery to get it fixed. You could, but when you've been wearing glasses for nearly 40 years, you kind of get used to it. And plus, I mean, I look like enough of an axe murderer as it is. If I take my glasses off, I just look like a super creepy axe murderer. You know, I look like someone off of one of those true crime shows, true crime shows, where this man, the kind of person you just look at them and you go, yeah, they done some creepy, twisted stuff. Yeah, they didn't just kill the person. There was other stuff that happened, probably after. Um, True crime, yeah, exactly. I spoonerise stuff without realising it. Spoonerising, where you swap the first letters over. Who is Lawrence Fox? He's an actor, I believe. Would he be an actor who was in a movie called The Ritual by any chance, S? Well, is that where you're going with that? Good evening, anyway. Um, fell asleep with my glasses on. Thankfully, you keep super glue. Yeah, I'm a modeler and a fish keeper, so I always have super glue. Good thing of our Mayor of London candidate. It can't be any worse than the last few we've had. Not that I really care what happens in London because I never go there. And I plan to never go there anytime soon if I can help it. Bad enough going to Norwich, and that's a tiny rural city. Yeah, I hate cities, especially ones like London that are just the absolute tip. If you go outside of the very centre of London, which is all, posh and touristy and upmarket, you got your Gucci and your Louis Vuitton and your Apple, and as soon as you get outside of that, then you get the real London, which is kind of like downtown Beirut on a Friday night. I actually think that, speaking of Beirut, first of all, we'll go with a bit of a joke, something I've seen a few times now is you get the various sort of reaction channels where it's reacting to like Reddit subreddits and things like that, where it's just dumb stuff people have done. And yes, apparently some people can't tell the difference between the word Lebanese, as in someone from Lebanon, and lesbian. Yeah, that was quite amusing. But anyway, back on that. The other thing, I've been getting loads and loads of adverts to go and visit Israel the last week or so. I'm thinking, wasn't it Brian May's Platinum Jubilee? Yes, it was. No, Brian May was the landlord of, or the landlady of the Queen Vic. Remember, in EastEnders. It's one of those where the guy looks exactly like his wife. Well, they at least go to the same hairdresser. No. Yes, it was. Mom has been queen for 70 years. Kind of impressive. Had the same job for 70 years. And not have to have an interview for it either. Who's going to fire the queen? Let's be honest. Last person to try that was Oliver Cromwell, and look where he ended up. Yeah, that's getting real political. I think that's probably long enough ago to not offend anyone. Mind you, I do actually know someone whose name is Oliver Cromwell. Oh dear. Well, yeah, so I'm getting all these adverts to go and visit Israel, and it's all these young, cool, and good-looking people going, "Yeah, Israel's awesome. Yeah, you need to come visit Israel." I'm thinking, isn't that like still an active war zone with a genocide going on? Hmm. Do you think perhaps that the fact that a lot of countries have withdrawn some funding or withdrawn funding from Israel might be the reason they're trying to increase the tourism? Sorry, political again, but it's just annoying. And shows that targeted advertising doesn't work. It's like, yeah, I don't do vacations. I don't do foreign holidays. I don't do that kind of stuff. Cromwell, my brain went, how in town? Get to grow up. Don't grow up. right? Adulting sucks. Friends went for the program. Ah. Um, yeah, it's yeah, and I forget who said it, but it's the best advice I've ever heard. Never lose touch with your inner child. Because, yeah, this just, if a fart or a burp timed properly or making the right kind of sound isn't funny to you anymore, yeah, sorry. The inner child is what keeps us young, as it were, well, mentally, if not physically. The inner child is what gets us in trouble physically when we think we're still 21 and we try and do the climby, jumpy, runny thing. And after about 20 yards, we're a wheezy, sweaty mess, trying not to cry because we're in agony because every single muscle and joint has gone pop. Hello, Debbie. Hope you're well. I think I'm safe. Boys and I still rate burps on a 1 to 10 scale, and farts are still funny. You're safe, Steph. You're good. If you're still rating farts and burps, even better if you're having a burping contest. Just don't have me enter it because, the burps you hear on here are me keeping them very, very quiet and subdued. Inner child and old person skeleton don't always agree. Yeah, and you're not even old, Mandy. And not only am I older, I've got all my old injuries as well, and breaks and tears and sprains and fractures and like my soul. You have a soul? Oh wow! I sold mine to the god of sex and drugs and rock and roll many, many moons ago. I definitely got the drugs and the rock and roll. But then, it wasn't much of a soul to begin with, so I didn't get ripped off in the end. Oh, well, the problem is, if I rip a good burp off, it just distorts the microphone. I have been known to wake up the neighbours. Willkommen back, Ricky. Yeah, good. Got tank going today. Wait a bit to add fish. Ooh. Right, before I got myself in trouble. Aqua balls. Evening, sir. How are you? Hope all is good. All the danger noodles and snacks and stuffs. And the grilling. Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. And now we're waiting to see who gets that reference first. So we went through births, deaths, and marriages this week. What do you reckon? Time for a quick look at some fishalies and tankalies? Let me just Oh, got a new logo. Oh, pardon me. I'm going to have to get close and squint. It's a blue background with what looks like it might be a snacky thing on it. I'm not saying it's a bad logo. I'm just saying my eyesight sucks. And plus, they're always so tiny that you can't really see what half of them actually are. So, let's move the camera. So, as usual, first stop that way, somewhere around there, is the Shelley Dwellies, the Neolamprologus similis. When you want the answers to the question of how many shell dwellers can you keep in a 15-gallon tank, the answer is apparently all of them. There's over 40 in there now. Ooh, new mollies. In that case, I've got something you might be interested in seeing if you're looking at molly wallies. And then we have the pinky and bluey ram's horns, which are mostly pinky these days. And we have the usual spawn of super reds. We have half a spawn of standards with an SKP super red. Full spawn of standard bristlies with some juvenile Limia perugiae and a bunch of random escaped snailies. We have the super red. Yeah, we have the super reds with some platinum mollies. There's actually some accidental super white, I think, in there. Then we have another full spawn of standard bristly noses. Come behind me. We have another full spawn of bristly noses. Happy Cara. Some molly wallies. If we can catch the right ones. Yeah, that one right. The little one there. You might not be able to see how that one's better. Not only do we have lyre tail, we have longfin lyre tail mollies. It's not something I've really seen before, is longfin mollies. I've seen the sail fins and stuff, but what else we got? We got more happy caras. Oh, let's move around this way, it'll be easier. Oh yes, more happy cara. Neons. Corridores. Pleco Cave. Without a pleco in it, thankfully. Somewhere down there, usually on that big bit of wood somewhere, there's SKP Plecklet. There he is. You just see the tail moving inside the piece of wood. Yeah, they're not supposed to be there, but you know. And then, so if we look higher, that way, that is where we have the baby Pelvicochromis subocellatus and more more bristly noses, etc. What is the plant in the big tank that looks like the edges are all curling? That one. That's a crit something or other. I think it might be a Wendesii. It's just covered in algae at the moment, if you mean that one. It's Yes, Cryptwendetii, and they're old leaves, so those leaves are dying. The new ones that are coming through are in good condition. Evening, Chewy. Lunatic Fring. Melvin. Evening, Melvin. How you doing? Yeah, there's just a bit of algae on it and stuffs, but yeah, that'll be alright. Happy Reet. That's a bit more Norfolk for you. Happy Reet. That will be perfectly fine, thank you very much. Is what that means. Yes. I'm going to have to do videos on like Norfolkisms and Norfolk folklore and stuff. Hello, Smush Face. Sorry, Smush Face is one of the shell dwellers. She looks like, basically, she looks like she swam into the glass really hard and went and smushed her face in. But the boys like her, so yeah. She's always got babies in her shell. Didn't you, hey? Oh, we're playing past a bit of lava rock round now. Good day, sir. Good day. Right, so I think what else have I done this week? Yeah, really not much. I know I've watched some interesting videos on YouTube, but I can't remember for the life of me what they were. Um, don't do drugs, kids. Don't become an alcoholic, kids. Don't give yourself multiple concussions, kids. It'll screw all three will screw your memory. Individually, but you put all three together, and it's amazing I can remember who I am some days. Then it's the things you forget and the things you remember. It's the short-term memory's gone. Because like right now, I can't remember what I might have watched this week, what I may have learnt this week. 6 months down the line, I'll remember it all though. That's the problem. But there we go. Watched the deep trial in recent weeks of the depth trial. So you haven't done much lately either. Mm. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I heard enough and saw enough about it. So yeah, that's what it was basically a competition to see who was the least insane. And we learned that Johnny Depp was the least insane. And he was married to Helena Bonham Carter. And she is grade A nuts. She always checks the pillow. I think you realise if you put your ear in that straight away. I mean, it must have been kind of like living with a cat because they do that. Spite pooping. If you don't pay your cat enough attention or whatever, blah, 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 then they will spite poop somewhere, normally in a shoe or in your bed. 1 p.m. Got to start language arts. 9-year-old keeps stream running in the back. Have a great week. Oh, thank you. Enjoy language arts. I'm not quite sure what that is. Is that how to swear in different languages? But anyway, one of the other downsides of getting old, the need to pee more regularly. So I'm going to be a minute. If you've got any questions you want to ask, stick them in the chat and I'll be back. English class. Oh, what could be better for learning English than watching an Englishman streaming on YouTube? Right. Oh, that's better. All right. Oh. What grade do we stop calling it language arts? Oh, I don't know. First, just call it English because that's what it is. Pardon me. It's changing altitude going up and down stairs. Oh, so it's Sunday. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, I remember any home interior designers that are watching, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, Kevin MacLeod, whoever you may be, Victorian Plumbing, DFS, whoever. Start putting urinals in all bathrooms in houses. Make life so much easier. And again, that was me trying to keep the volume down. Yeah, just my 2 pence rant for the week. Put the urinals in bathrooms in houses. It's so much easier. Fair enough. Yeah. So, hi to Mini Zens and hi to Mr. Zen as well. One time you put a, wonder what an interior designer would do with a house with a bunch of fish tanks. Oh God. I'd probably kill everything in the tanks to start with. Then if my memories of watching the home improvement shows from like the 90s, what they tended to do with everything was they'd make an MDF cabinet that hid it. So yeah, it would just be wall to wall MDF cabinets to hide everything, so it doesn't interfere with the aesthetics. They wouldn't. No, they would literally build a ropey looking MDF case to go around it, paint it one color, and then some interior designery type person would come in with some rag and a scumble glaze or something, and then just dab it all over so it looked like they hadn't finished it properly. And then the first thing you do when you come back after they've done it is you go, "Oh wow, I love what you've done." As soon as the camera crew leaves, you pull it all out and chuck it in the skip outside. If only you do it all on this, just put a plant over it. Yeah. Well, modelers do. Scale modelers. Yeah. If you're an armour modeller, i.e. you build tanks, you cover it in mud, call it weathering. If it's a plane, you put a tarp on it. Get that education. Yes. Yes. Be sure they learn all about evolution and nuclear. Oh, sorry, I can't even say it that way. Nuclear um, power. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's what I am. I'm edutainment. You might learn something. You might have a laugh as well. Not much to do with a house full of tanks. Exactly. I never understood this thing of. I mean, do people literally sit there and stare at their walls? Because the amount people seem to worry about like wallpaper patterns or paint colours and hues and shades and oh no, but I like fuchsia with a hint of rose. But I like this in burnt sienna amber dusk. What? Purpley red, yellowy orange. That's it. Hence why my walls are painted white. Why? It's the cheapest paint. It covers well. Fancy names are just for money. Exactly. We can match whatever colour you like. Yeah, can you? I'd like to see you match Russian interior cockpit turquoise. That'd be a good one to see you try and match. Because it is a colour specifically designed to keep pilots awake. Because it's actually quite a pleasant colour to look at, but there's mocha mint colour's not fan. Yeah, it's like that's like light brown with a hint of green in it, so greeny brown. Yeah, that's the sort of colour that a heavy smoker with a cold coughs up. Yeah, and I say this with the full knowledge of the irony that as a scale modeler, I've got probably about 300 pots of paint upstairs in the spare room, or the man cave. Yeah, but I mean, why can't they just call it heavy smoker's cough? You know, it's the old going back into the 90s Games Workshop Citadel paints as they were back then. I think they might still be. Um, but you used to get all sorts of cool names. It's like they'd call them what they were. I mean, there was a rotting flesh colour. There was a tentacle pink, red gore, vomit brown, puke green. You know, all these kind of colours. You know, bilious green. All you know, and they look like what the colour said they were. Nowadays, it's all tied into whatever the actual miniature is that's supposed to be painted that colour. So it'll be Macragge blue, tentacle, not testicle pink. That's lighting always changes the colour exactly, which is a source of great hilarity in the scale modelling community as well, because not everyone's monitor shows colours the same way. So there's lots of arguments about That is the wrong shade of RAL 7073 Dunkelgelb, whatever it is. Right, no, it's the right shade. No, it's the wrong shade. The right shade is no, it's the right. No, no, you're just looking at it on a different monitor with different settings. The one I'm looking at it on, which is my eyeballs. Welcome back, Danny Boy. I hope all the Human Fry and Mrs. Dan are okay and doing well. I expect Mrs. Dan is raging about the car incident. But yeah, but even back then in the 90s, Games Workshop did have a little bit of marketing nous about them to, you know, these days, yes, like the Warhammer stuff is aimed more at people my kind of age. Basically, people who grew up with it and can actually afford it because the prices are ludicrous. But yeah, given the modern PC world, people would complain about the names that they used to call things. You know, they had to redesign the entire Slanesh Chaos range to make sure that none of them had boobies on show. Yeah, just to go on, no one hurt, but bloody annoying when people do that though. And hello, Rebecca. Yes, we're talking about Warhamster. And we saw her in the wallet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did it. They should pay for it. Yes. Warhamster. I used to play it quite a bit when I was probably about your age, actually, to be honest. Lurking while doing endless covering letters. Oh, I hate them. I hate doing that. What was wrong with the old way of doing these things? You just like, it's basically like a job. You'd see the card up, or you'd see an advert, or a thing in the shop window, or whatever, or outside the company, or whatever it's, you know, now hiring. You just wander in there with your CV. Nowadays, you got to beat the algorithm first before a human even gets to see the bloody thing. Spat out water while hearing the Warhammer stuff. Yeah, well, I nearly got kicked out of my local Games Workshop store because one of the characters, a big character in the new character arcs or new story arcs for the whole universe, is Robute Gilliman, or as I call him, Rowboat Girly Man. They didn't share my sense of humour when I started referring to Rowboat Girly Man or Robot Girly Man or Papa Smurf, because they wear all blue armour, the Ultramarines. Yeah, it didn't go down well. I nearly got kicked out. I only really paint the big epic monsters. Got the new dragon. So trying to see if I've got anything around here. Oh, I do. They're probably dusty as smeg, but we got a few of the Rory Hammery things. What we got is easy to get to. Dusty as all get out, but we have the Winged Hive Tyrant with a poor little tower about to get demolished. Yeah. The wings are actually red, but you can't see it through the dust. Obviously, airbrush. What else we got down here? We got... Oh. They're all kind of jammed in and tangled up together because lack of space on the coffee table. Then we have the Manticore. And that was all done with paintbrush. Again, apart from the wings, they were airbrushed. And so monstery stuff. The only other monstery thing we got down here is the greater horned rat demon. So yes, giant rat demon covered in cobwebs and dust. Yeah. Somewhere around here I've got most of the undead stuff as well. My car. Well, I've got an airbrush down, so you know, I technically could do it, but I think the cost of fuel getting down here would probably overdo the cost of getting it done. Yeah, Manticore is called. I think that's in the Warcry now. It used to be Dark Elves. I think it's Warcry. So if you look on the website under that, it should show up there. Rajas con queso. Oh. Thank you very much, Lady Di. Yeah, so it's as I mostly do tanks, mostly tanks, with the odd planey thingy thrown in, but all kind of legit, historically accurate. Every so often you need a break, and so every so often I'd break out a big old Games Workshop thing and start wiping and blowing paint on that, just mainly for a break from grey, brown, and green. Yeah, see what we've got up here. It's mostly Russian tanks. One Australian tank. Probably a couple of Israeli ones up there as well. A couple of German. Oh, and a couple of American and French. Yeah, the old question is, people say, how many tanks have you got? And I'd be like, fish or model? Because if I'd put the two together, the number would be quite scary. I won't go grab it now, but somewhere upstairs is a 1/24th scale Hawker Typhoon, which is sort of 20 inches across and 20 inches long. Big old hunk of plastic and resin and brass and material, literal real fabric. Basically about as much of the original kit as I could replace, I did. Mainly because it was supposed to be sort of, well, I think it was supposed to be £100 kit, and I think I paid £45 for it. So I ended up spending the extra £100 on more upgrades. That's my other hobby, and I have been up in the cave a little bit this week. I did stick together a MIG ferret and wipe some paint on some Necrons, undead robot thingies from Warhammer. Nothing worth taking pictures of or showing off though, because not done anything for that long that I'm pretty much a beginner again. Well, I might one day, if I actually get around to dusting them all without smashing everything to pieces, actually do a video of this is what I have. I mean, you can't see it, but up the top there is actually a model of the Bates Mansion from movie Psycho. Right. Really paint too stressful because one mistake is painful to look at. It's uh, not really. You can just paint over it. it's it's nothing a bit of Dettol won't fix. Let's put it that way. Not like riding a bike, just get back on. Yeah, I mean the basic knowing what to do and how to do it is all still there. So yeah, it's like I could get on a bike and ride it, but I wouldn't necessarily be able to do, pogos and bunny hops and wheelies and stoppies and stop at a set of lights and just balance without putting my feet down. That kind of thing. It's just the little extra bits that take practice and then re-practice, and so it comes to you quickly. But so I mean, there's a technique I use on that manticore that I'm not saying I invented, but it's something I thought of and then tried and it worked, which I call moist brushing. It's like dry brushing, but with thinner, runnier paint. And it can work well in the right situations, like riding a horse again. Yeah, that's not happening. I've never ridden a horse. Horses won't let me get near them. There's more chance of me riding a cow than a horse, because I get on well with cows. Horses, they're generally better off in a lasagna or a glue factory, in my book. Oh, oh, I moved too suddenly and scared all the Shelleys. Oh dear. Get back on the bike. Yeah. I have been thinking about that lately because I've got my bike in my shed. Probably needs quite a bit of work doing to it. But yeah, I've been thinking about getting down the local, getting on that, and then I can go back to the local fishing lake and make a video down there. I can go see some other local churches and spooky, excuse me, spooky places without having to wait for Mary to come on a Sunday and drive. You can ride cows. Well, cows are a lot friendlier than horses. Yeah. Just my experience of horses, they're psychotic creatures. And they're scared of plastic bags. So, actually, have you seen bunny show jumping? Because that's awesome as well. Yes, they do show jumping with rabbits. Very, very funny. That's just all horses. I mean, School of Fate, when I was like 5 or 6. I mean, it seemed like a huge horse to me at the time, but it was probably just a little pony. And kids have been going up and down on it, no problem, petting it, fussing it, giving it sugar lumps, carrots, whatever. All good. Been really well behaved. I walk towards it, it turns around, gives me the evils, does a horse equivalent of a growl, and then tries to bite me for no apparent reason. It's not like I snuck up on it from behind. I was approaching from the front. It just decided, nope. New series, John rides each week. Gamble if it's successful, or I end up in hospital. More like, yeah. Stand know where St. Luke's is. Sounds like either a church or a hospital. And I'm guessing it's probably haunted. using my psychic talents. Good story, not. Yeah, but so it's not the only time. Any time I've ever gone near a horse, it's just doesn't like me. Donkeys are fine. If there are donkeys in the field, I can walk up and give a donkey a fuss and a stroke and have a chat, and all is good. All is well with the world. I can grab some grass and feed the donkey. Not a problem. Go anywhere near a horse? No. Literally, it's the only animal that I just don't get on with. Rodents I'm fine with. Rabbits I'm fine with. Cats, dogs, fish, shrimp, snails, bats, birds. Ponies have little man. I was a little man, so the pony was big. One ass to another. Exactly. Yeah. They recognise me as one of their own. Stay away from horses, they read your mind. Yeah, but even when I didn't want to either turn them into glue or steaks. Snakes, lizards, and crocs, I've not had any real experiences with. Certainly not crocs, anyway. Although the caiman at the LFS don't seem too bothered by me. Snake-wise, just a few general grass snakes. Same with lizards, whatever the standard common lizards are. But yeah, I might be able to pick up on it, but horses are easy enough to avoid. Snakes are epic. Wouldn't mind a pet crocodile. You would absolutely hate my LFS, Rebecca. You'd hate it completely. Not only is there a really big freshwater section with some absolutely honking great tanks. I mean, like we're talking a 15-foot piranha tank and another one the same size with the various fish that people have had that got too big. Let's put it that way. So there's red tails in there, or a red tail now, bichers, honking great loach of some description. I can't figure out what the heck it is because I've never seen one that size. Commonplex, pacus. Is it a full-grown jag or a dover? I can't remember which. Then the other side, you got the full marine section, complete with full-grown moray eel and bamboo shark. Sorry, in the freshwater sump is a full-grown red tail. Then you've got the cold water section, which is all the various different goldies and astro turtles and minnows and roach and run bass and carp and all that. Then you've got the outdoor pond section with all the mutant carp, the muck carp, and all the various other pond fish. The sump of that is what the whales are living in now. Then you've got the reptile section. You've got the bug section. You've got the feathered and the furry section. And then you basically got a zoo. Yeah, they've got all their licenses, Rebecca. The guy who was originally selling the Wells catfish didn't have a license for them because he didn't realise he needed one. And he was like, "Yeah, what's the big deal? What's the problem?" It's like, you do realise how big those things get. One of those will wipe out an entire lake. Yeah. Nobody's got a tank big enough for those. Reminds you of Port and Aquatics last visit was a bit of a story. Oh dear. You know, if I say if you get time in between doing all your various letters and you're a bit bored, you look in the playlists. It's the Swallow Aquatics. Yeah, you got your giant tortoises and your caimans and all sorts. Now, you know when you do an LFS tour and it takes you 6 videos to get around it. Yeah, that kind of a thing. And that wasn't because I was being slow. And I've also got marmosets. You know, got all the snakes, all the lizards, salamanders. Really cool something arium that's got the water in the bottom with fishes in it, with like the trees and plants coming out. And then there's chameleons, chameleons in the plants above the water. That's super cool. There's stick insects, all sorts, spidders, including Goliath bird-eating spiders. Thankfully, they just sell spiderlings, not the full-grown ones, because yeah, I don't think anyone really wants a pet spider that you can hear walking around its enclosure. You know, spiders shouldn't leave footprints. Let's put it that way. Yes, I know technically it's a tarantula, and tarantulas aren't spiders, but they are arachnids. Oh, pardon me. They got 8 legs and they bite. That's all you need to know. It's got 8 legs, looks like a spider, acts like a spider, is a spider. It is in my book anyway. So Dan's not been past 30 miles from Glasgow. That's plenty close enough to. That's plenty close enough to the Weege. Dan, you don't want to get any closer if you can help it. Oh, brekkie brecks. What are you having for brekkie brecks, milady? Or in the Derbyshire vernacular, breakfast. Or my great grandparents were married. Oh dear. That's going back a bit. No offense, Chewy, but you know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and work out how long ago that would have been. Eek. One of my friends' bands from Wales have played the venue. But given the age of it, these days more picking kids up from gigs and going, yeah. And if you have to, but you sort of, so you go in. I'll just sit out here in the car. I'll just wait in the car park. I was going to say parking lot. Jeez, I've been paying too much attention to Americans. Yeah. Yeah, Nadine's going to see someone in a couple of weeks, and I've never heard of them. But apparently they're really, really good. Don't even recognise the name. So it'll be whoever is the latest pretty boy. The latest pretty boy that can dance and maybe hold a tune slightly with a bit of auto tune and look good in the latest fashion. Actually, Chewy's probably the best person. What do you reckon kids these days would make to the Cure? Early Cure. Yeah, so early 80s. The acoustics aren't the best. Yeah, probably not. They do get rather echoey, um, and not in a good way. I mean, the acoustics work okay for things like a bunch of people singing hymns out of tune. Took my boy to see Lil TJ, never heard of, in Mank last year. Did the Munt and Grunt afterwards, and we gave him a fist bump. I bet he's sort of like, what? Yeah, I say, like the old Gregorian chanting and things like that sound good in a church, but a rock band isn't going to. The echoes and acoustics aren't going to be right for a rock band. The acoustics are good at covering up things that you don't want people to hear. So, lots of oh is fine in a church, but yeah, distorted guitars and stuff probably not so much. I just hope it's not one of those churches where they've got like the old vicars buried under the floor. One of the boys will be right into the queue. Oh, there you go, Dan. Well, I'd start them out easy, go with something like the album Japanese Whispers, not something like Pornography or Disintegration. Or Faithful 17 Seconds. I don't know. If you want them to top themselves, Faithful 17 Seconds might be a good one to go for. I'll say Nadine is into her whatever is popular at the moment type music, whereas Adam is more of an old rocker. But nothing too heavy. AC/DC is about his limit of heaviness. Oh, yeah. What other bands that would freak out kids these days? Ministry. Um, Mind you, Ministry freak out adults still. Flock of Seagulls. You try and imagine explaining those hairstyles to a teenager. Oh my God. Jesus and Mary chain. Sisters of Mercy. Oh, what you're listening to? You think that's goth, do you? No, no. There's a reason. The reason it's called emo. It's goth light. It's goth without the darkness. Um, Given how simple people seem, or youngsters generally, I'm generalising because there are youngsters with decent tastes, but given how simple music tends to be these days, anything symphonic is gonna, yeah, some Winter Sun, give them 12 and 14-minute long songs which evolve all the way through. Snoochie boochies. Evening, lurking while trimming and water changing. How you all doing? I hope you're good. Yeah, I'm alright, Snooch. Thanks, Bowie, Dylan, Nirvana. Oh, Suede. Yes. Excellent band. And no, you are safe. I'm not going to start singing Animal Nitrate or Metal Mickey. Or We Are the Pigs. Yeah, if there's one voice I'm not going to attempt, it's Brett Anderson. Yeah, Suede were an awesome band. I was actually watching their performance at the Brits the other day, where that didn't go down too well. I'm not quite as bad as the KLF when they went on with Extreme Noise Terror. And Bill Drummond ended up firing an actual machine gun above the audience. It was loaded with blanks, but firing actual blanks at the Brits. Don't listen to pop or really music at all. There's a few rock metal, Sabaton. Can't go wrong with a bit of Sabaton. You get a cool tune, and then you watch the Sabaton history video on the history of that song. And so you rock and you learn. Great concept. Can't stand. I think it's 70s music. All right, little baby. Yeah, but from what I've heard of more modern chart pop music, I'd rather listen to ABBA and Kate Bush. At least ABBA and Kate Bush wrote all their own music and performed all their own music. And no, I'm not going to start singing Kate Bush songs either. Well, I might. I've done it before at karaoke. Yes, this sang Wuthering Heights at karaoke. A long time ago, but it sang Wuthering Heights at karaoke. In the right octave. It was painful. I think I've had less tension in my throat when I've had, COVID. Trying to get the older pipes up that kind of oldly. Oh, you mean Annette Olsen? Yes. Yeah. No, nothing against her. She's a decent voice. She's a pop singer. That's what she is. Oh, Kate Bush is definitely part alien. I mean, gorgeous, but yeah, definitely part alien. Yeah. Her and Tori Amos, very strange ladies. Only Tori Amos has had a lot of work done as well, so I don't think Kate Bush has, but Tori Amos has for sure. She doesn't look anything like she did in the 90s. I think she actually looks younger now. Someone I thought was the first singer, that'd be Tarja Turunen, as opposed to the current lead singer for Nightwish, which is Fleur Jansen, who has a solo album out now. Which, if you prefer your music poppier than more metally, then yeah, like nails on a chalkboard. You see, I've never been bothered. You do the scratch your nails down the chalkboard and people are going, ooh. I'm like, it's just a noise. I've seen Ministry live. Surprised they actually put out that album. Yeah. Although, to be fair, I think her version of Amaranth is still the best version of that song. And I've heard Floor sing it more than once. Pierce the Veil the other week. Never heard of. Out of a winding, windy morning sun. Yeah, Kate Bush. I did say I wouldn't sing Kate Bush, didn't I? Sorry. There's just that amount of nasality in her voice that does make it sound a bit strange. Damn, how did I start doing vocal stuff? Weird. You can tell I watch some of the reaction channels, and not just the ones that go, "Yeah, that was cool." Although I did watch a hilarious one yesterday. There was a couple of either still teens or very early 20s American rap kids. No, got their caps on back to front, perched on the top of their head, looking all cool and doing all the hand signals and what have you. It's like, yeah, whatever. And they were reacting to Ian Drury and the Blockheads. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Like Kate Bush, wasn't this? Yeah, maybe Kate's Bush, but not Kate Bush. No, as you said last week, I can't even do my own bloody accent, so ain't no doing whatever the heck Kate Bush's accent is. Although to be fair, that is probably closer to my native accent than Norfolk. So my native accent's being properly spoken Queen's English, don't you know? The water in Mallorca does not taste quite like what it ought to. What I would normally say would be the water in Mallorca don't taste like what it ought to. Yes. Brought up all posh like and then got lazy. Annette Olsen, yes, that's the one, Dewey. Ooh. Yeah, I think she was part alien as well. Is Scott still here? We need proof. We need research on this. Scotty, Alien World, if you're around, check into it. Were Kate Bush and Annette Olsen part alien? Yeah, sings like the singers of ABBA. Well, I mean, it's not that far apart geographically. Different countries, I know, but actually, isn't it Swedish or Finnish? I think that might have been Swedish. Yeah, go from opera singer to ABBA to yeah, I can sing everything. No. Floor, yeah, not quite as good at operatics as Taya was, but ain't no way you're getting Taya touring and growling. See the cartridge though, the Queen's hologram from when she was young waving went by. Pretty cool. I didn't, but I shall have a look. James Blunt is also an alien. Nah, I mean, James Blunt is a former English soldier, so he was one of the first troops into Bosnia, actually, with NATO. And Shawnee Sean, blooming heck, it's alive! Sean is alive! How are you, sir? Long time no see. Hope all is well with you and your family and your Shelley shed and everything else. I say it's been a while, so I don't know if everything's changed. Household cavalry, voice is alien. Yeah, men shouldn't be able to sing at that pitch, but have you seen the Princess Elizabeth loco? I probably have at some point. But that's because I used to work in a model shop and we sold trains, so there's probably a model train of it that I've seen. But yeah, I hope you're all good, Shawnee Sean. If you got any new stuff, just chuck me a message. If there's anything you might not necessarily want being public, that time for a blunt. Yeah. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. Oh, that sounded more like blooming. Oh, what's the name? Stevie Nicks. If you want a real laugh, listen to Stevie Nicks singing Silent Night. It does sound like a goat. If you wonder where the South Park joke about Stevie Nicks being a goat came from, it's that. And I don't mean greatest of all time goat, I mean meh goat. Eats grass, horns, headbutts people, that kind of goat. Yeah. Have fun, Lady Diane. Peace out, my dear. And rock on. Didn't work too hard. Mwah. Steam, water different, need different heat source, much better than diesel. Well, anything's better than diesel. Good. Shouldn't hold at the moment. Neighbour's helping down. His wife doesn't want me using the garage anymore. And a real makeshift area. Oh dear. Never mind. Some things in life are sent to try us, and the Shelley shed will happen. All the injuries and the pain will be worth it. It will all happen in the end. These things are sent to try us. Try us they do. Ugh. You wouldn't know it's been blooming overcast and drizzly all day. So blooming hay fever's starting to play up again. It must be the oilseed rape is in flower somewhere. And yes, when I'm like doing a live stream, I do try to remember to call it oilseed rape and not what we generally call it around this area, which is we just call it rape. So the rape field does not mean there's a field that people go to molest people of the other gender. It means a field with nasty yellow flowers that they use to make biodiesel that are really bad for the environment, stink to high heaven, give everyone really bad hay fever, and are actually dangerous for wildlife. Don't let your dogs anywhere near oilseed rape, because literal just contact with it with their skin will burn them. Rapeseed pollen is great for honey. It has a minty taste. Honey just tastes of honey to me. It kind of tastes like liquid sweetness. Again, no sense of smell, so sense of taste very reduced. It's all these wonderful different flavors I don't really get. I just get honey taste of honey. It's it wasn't until I had handmade ice cream that I realized that vanilla has a flavor to it. I always thought vanilla just meant plain, like it had no flavor, because vanilla ice cream just tasted of milk to me. Anyway, yeah, honey from a beekeeper. Oh yeah, I know people. No, that is a thing, but I can't. Yes, I think it's something like 70% of your sense of taste is smell. So yeah, I got like 30% of the best of times, and I've been smoking over 30 years. So most people when they with COVID, when that loss of sense of smell and taste hit, it was a big deal for them. For me, it was just like, oh, that's a bit weird. No. It's like, oh, my Stilton and broccoli soup tastes exactly the same as my Relentless energy drink. No, never mind. But yeah, it was bit of a, bit of a. Other people were like, I just can't eat anything because it doesn't taste of anything. And I'm like, it doesn't anyway. Just put extra hot sauce on it, and then you'll get something. Dollop plenty of mustard onto it. That'll clear your sinuses out. Oh, be careful. Cough and fart at the same time. That's a bit dangerous. Yeah, so literally most of the time I can't even breathe through it because it's clagged up with hay fever. So it's, that is literally just there to hold these up and to make people feel ill. Get it back straight again. That might help. Yeah, I've broken my nose so many times that the cartilage part is no longer attached to the bone part. I think it's 5 times I've broken my nose now. I can't remember. The last time was by accidentally punching myself in the face in my sleep. I didn't even wake up. So basically, I knocked myself out in my sleep. Kind of with cars and health, very little interest. Got a history of cars and love steam locos. Well, you can't go wrong with a Mallard or a Flying Scotsman, I say. But we do, where I live, we do actually have steam trains still going back and forth sometimes. I think it's the North Norfolk Railway pretty much always has a steam train on it. The Wyndham to Wyndham South Norfolk, that's got a steam train on it, and in the main line we fairly regularly get the steam trains going back and forth. It's a bit of a wonder though, which is actually better for the environment, a steam train that burns coal or a diesel? Yeah, I'll say they don't do the long haul trips anymore. But yeah, it's it does make you wonder which is actually more environmentally friendly, a steam loco or a diesel one? Which is belching out the worst fumes? When you bear in mind a lot of what's coming out of a steam locomotive is steam. I know that the burning the coal and the soot and what have you isn't good, but that just settles. That doesn't stay around toxic in the atmosphere for years. Taken off service when you're 40. Cool. Yeah, so we still got them running here. I have actually been on a steam locomotive. I was quite young at the time. My overarching memory of that is I don't like trains because I used to get train sickness. Nige, how you doing, my buddy? Hope all is well. Hydrogen should be. Because what do you get when you burn hydrogen? You get water. Yeah. Yeah. You'll be pleased to know, Nige, I'm still upsetting people in the Airfix group. It's just one of my things to do. Yeah. Right. Which is easier to renew? Which takes longer to build back up in the ground, coal or oil? Yeah. Yeah, it produces more CO2 and fumes. Fair enough. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I've got to troll people, Nigel. What's the point in living if I can't troll people? I troll fish keepers as well. Not even sure we have the climate to build fossil fuels at the rate we did. Yeah, true. There's not as much oxygen in the atmosphere as there was when the trees turned into carbon and coal and oil and yeah. I say you say the type of coal. That was one of the things during World War One because we Britain had access to far better coal than Germany did. So after a few years of being in service, all the German ships' boilers were basically knackered, whereas the British ships could still go at full chat and no problem. Which, yeah, because our coal burnt cleaner than their coal did. And then obviously they went to oil by World War Two. Well, there were still some coal-fired ships in World War Two. Oh, hold up. Tank lights are wrong. We've gone past 8 and the lights are still on. They're just turning off, so they're about right. But anyway, yeah, that is it. My 2 hours. Our coal burned very well in Titanic's hull. Also soaked up a lot of water as well. Source a lot of the excess carbon in comparison to other fossil fuels. Fair enough. But yeah, that was one of the things that reduced the amount of people that were on ships. You didn't need people shoveling the coal to get them to go permanently. That said, there was still something like 2,500 people on Bismarck when it went down, and less than 100 survived. I think it was 3 survived good. That's 1,400. It was the anniversary of the Battle of Jutland this week, and I forget there's a scary number of people died during that. And on that bummer, I shall say thank you very much for watching, because that's telling me my time is definitely up. Have a good week. Stay safe. Don't burn too many fossil fuels. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. It's just another Sharpe Sunday. Oh, oh. Thank God it isn't Monday. That's water change day.